Hi everybody, welcome to Dye Time. I am Amy from the Cauldron, and today I am going to be speckling on this hand spun yarn. I have 15 grams of hand spun yarn here that I spun myself. This was spun out of Jacob top, and I dyed some of this fibre in a previous video, and here's some that I had left over, so I thought I kettle dyed the fibre. Why not speckle on this yarn that I've spun? I'm not a perfect spinner. You can see there's a lot of spun areas, but I'm very proud of what I've done here. And so I'm going to speckle today with silver grey acid dye from Dharma. I've got my gloves on, I've got my mask on, and I've got some cling film on the surface here to not only protect the surface but also so I can wrap up the yarn in this. This has been pre-soaking in water and vinegar because it's an animal fibre. It needs vinegar and heat to set, so we're going to be steam setting this. I've just taken a little pinch of silver grey dye. Never worked with this dye before. Normally when I get new dyes I do a little swatch test of them. I dye 10 grams of yarn at a 1% solute depth of shade just to see how the dyes react, how potent they are. But I'm not sure if I've actually done that with this silver grey yet. I'm trying really hard not to go overboard. So I've just done 2 little pinches. Maybe I'll do one tiny bit more. And right, that's it. I'm going to leave this for probably about 10 minutes now, just to let the dye sort of soak into the yarn, and then we'll see if I need to flip it or if we can just go straight into steam setting. This has been sitting here for about 10 minutes now, so let's have a little, I'm going to flip it, see if there's any little patches on this side I might want to speckle onto. Trying to go very, very lightly on this. There's not that many spots, but there, I think that's enough. Really don't want to go overboard on this. I'm now going to roll this up. And put this in my dedicated dye steam basket and let it steam for probably about 30 minutes. The Jacob yarn that I spun has cooled down. Still a touch warm, but it doesn't have to be completely stone cold. The yarn only really needs to be, cool enough to touch so that you can wash it. And there's quite a lot of dye on the cling film. Hopefully there won't be much bleeding, but let's just see. I'm using cool water. Now this is non-superwash yarn, so I need to be very, very careful with this. I don't want to felt it. It looks like there was a little bit of dye coming off, but not so much now. Now I don't want to agitate this too much and felt it. So I'm going to put in the plug and a little bit of washing up liquid, and I'm just going to let this soak for a little bit. Hopefully, yeah, there is some dye coming off this, so I'm going to have to do this a few times before the water goes clear. I'm going to let this soak in the water for a little bit, and I'll come back to it in a couple of minutes and just keep changing the water until I am happy with this. But it looks like there isn't any dye coming off now, so hopefully this won't take too much longer. And here is my finished Jacob yarn that I have hand spun and dyed myself. I am very proud of this. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it's something that I've done myself, and it's unique, and I think I'm very proud of it. I'm not good at speckling. Let's just get that out of the way. I need to practice it, and I think what I'm going to do is mix some of the dye in with citric acid, which will force me to use a lot less dye. Because what I have a habit of doing is getting a pinch of dye and sprinkling that all over the yarn, and then thinking, oh, that's nowhere near enough, and then doing some more and some more and some more. And by the time I finished, I've ended up with a lot more dye than I actually intended. Not that that's always a bad thing. I mean, this I think looks really quite fun. We have a little close up of it. Yeah, there is a lot of grey, there's white, but what I really like about this is we've got some black patches or charcoal, and then you've got a sort of grey halo around it, and that happens in quite a lot of places. I think that's really pretty. And yeah, this isn't perfectly spun, because look, that bit is way over spun. It keeps spinning back on itself. But I'm a beginner spinner, and I'm still practicing, and I'm just really proud of how this has turned out. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Do please click like and subscribe to my channel. Please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of this dyeing tutorial. I publish a new dyeing tutorial every Monday, and it's usually between about 6 and 8 p.m. UK time, usually closer to 6 p.m. And I do like to experiment with different things. Sometimes I'll dye some unspun fibre, sometimes it will be a sock blank or cotton embroidery floss, or I'll tie-dye a t-shirt. I like to use different dyes and techniques and mix things up, so there should always be something different and interesting to watch. Thank you so much for watching.